Alright, so this is going to be a tutorial on the Paper Mario Chapter 5A setup. This is just going to be over the setup, not the actual route or routes you could potentially take. This is just the setup. So this is the A setup that's using the current any percent route. It's about an hour. The category is about an hour faster than no ace. If you're thinking this is like the category with Ocarina of Time stuff, it is not. This is an A setup without Ocarina of Time. If you are interested in the Ocarina of Time stuff, though, that category is called Stop and Swap, and I have a tutorial on that as well, which I'll link in the description. So back to Chapter 5A. So first, I'm going to explain how it works, and I'm going to explain some things you need to know and do beforehand, and like some things to have beforehand as well. And then I'm going to go into actually doing everything for the ace to work, and I'm going to give like visual cues for certain position setups and everything, and some tips on some other stuff. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So first off, how this entire thing works. I have a little paper right here that kind of just shows it. So basically you get save block storage, which allows you to get effect storage after doing a position setup. And then after you're done setting up all your positions and everything and all your effects, you're going to jump code execution to your last landed X position, your current Z position, and your current X position. And when those three positions are read as code, they're going to jump code execution to your player 3 inputs. And so player 3 needs to hold X100, Y121, C left, C down, C right, and the A button. These inputs, when read as code, translate to a jump instruction to the file names. And then that causes the file names to be read as code. Afterwards, the game's going to crash, you can reset, and upon reloading your file, you're going to get credits warp. So that's basically TLDR of this entire thing. And so, as you might have noticed, player 3, you need to have a controller plugged into the third port on the N64, and it needs to hold these exact values. If even like the analog stick values are off by one value, the instruction is going to be invalid, and you won't continue. The ace won't continue past this point, so you won't get credit warp. So the way that there were two ways I thought of to set up player 3 inputs. You can do it however you want, and it does not matter how you do it. As long as you can have some way to set up these inputs and have them actually stay for the duration of the run, then you should be good to go. Or at least when it comes time to do the ace setup, then you should be good. So the way I think JCOG did it was by importing like Nintendo Spy or something into Virtual Studio Code, and then adding extra code to say if the inputs were correct or not, and then using rubber bands and stuff to like tie the control stick down and hold the buttons and stuff. So I had no idea how to do that. I spent like months just kind of on and off, trying to figure out some way to set those up. And I eventually just gave up because I'm like, yeah, I have no clue where to even start with this stuff. So, anyway, so you can do that if you can figure out a way to do it. Or actually, the way I do it is, so this thing is a TAS TM32. Shoutouts to Soren. He built me this to test out the Triforce percent stuff that was shown at SGDQ 2022. He was the director of that. So yeah, huge shout outs to him for building this. Really useful thing. And so, basically, what I did was I can plug this up to my Raspberry Pi and then plug in a like custom plug I made so that like one end of it, like an Ethernet plug, can go into an N64 controller extension cable, and I have that plugged into my N64. So basically, I can just like type out a command to run the task file I created, which just holds all the buttons and the control stick angles and stuff. So basically, I can just like type out the command, hit enter on my keyboard, and the third player port should snap to those values that I need. So that's kind of how I did mine. Just whatever, literally whatever you're like. There are no rules on how you have to set it up. So literally whatever method you can figure out to do it, as long as it works and you can set it up before the run, that is technically legal for the leaderboard. So yeah, just literally any way you can figure out how to set them up. If it works, then go for it. Anyway, so that's enough about player 3 stuff. So now onto the actual setup. So first off, when you're booting up, or for practicing, I really recommend using the practice ROM. Makes this like 10 times easier because you can give yourself items and stuff, and warp to places, and set up memory watches, which are extremely useful for this. And yeah, just a lot of things that are going to be really useful for learning this. Anyway, so once you have this, you're going to need your file name set up a certain way. So you're going to need to have these first 3 files. Every single character has to be typed out perfectly, like this, with all these characters. If one of these characters is wrong, after you get to the end of the setup, your file names are going to be read as invalid code, and the game is going to not give you a credits warp. So these 3 files have to be exactly as I have them right now, but the 4th one can be whatever you want. I just named mine this because it translates to something funny when you translate it back to English. But anyway, what you're going to do is you're going to play through the file until you get to the volcano ace room. So it's going to be this room. I'm going to turn off the light real quick. And so I'm going to be explaining everything from first entering this room until getting the credits warp. So first thing you need to do when entering this room, you need to kill the spiny top down here, this dude over here. So with the route I have, it's fine. It's fine if you get first strike, I think, in some cases. But I would try not to, in case you are low in health. Anyway, so the way I'm doing it with the route I'm doing is I just kill both of these guys with 2 Thunder Rages. But if you're doing a route that you get sushi with, I would use 1 Thunder Rage and then kill the fire dude with sushi's FP attack. And also with the route I'm doing, you level up after this, so you don't have to worry about like your health or anything. As long as you survive the fight, you should be good. Anyway, after you finish the battle, you don't have to worry about picking up all these coins and stuff. You can just leave them. Or if it brings you peace of mind, you can pick them up, I guess. I don't know, dude. Anyway, so you're going to come down here, and you're going to save. And so the first time you save in the game, it's going to have like some extra text and stuff, which can be annoying to like work with when you're first starting out. So I just recommend saving the moment you get down here. So anyway, now what you're going to do is you're going to get save block storage. And to do that, there are 3 springs down here, or 2 springs down here, sorry. There's this first one, and there's a second one, and they both jump you back up to this platform. But actually, you can just hit the middle spring by walking off the ledge at the right time, and then holding down right. It's pretty easy to do. It's just exactly as it looks. Just sort of hold down left until you can walk off and hold down right. Anyway, this screws up Mario's flags a bit. But anyway, once you have done that, you want to wait till Goombario comes back to you, like he is now. And then you're going to pause. you're going to hold down on the analog stick. Actually, let me pull up my input viewer just so I don't have to show my controller. And let me change... For now, I'll change my numerical to... Oh, I can do both. Oh, nice. Okay, that's helpful. Okay. Anyway, so what you're going to do is you're going to pause. You're going to pause, you're going to hold down, and then you're going to hit pause again to unpause, and then while it's unpausing, you're going to press C down. So, start, C down. And if you did it right, Goombario should be, you should be able to move around while Goombario is talking. And so once his text box is done scrolling, you can jump on the save block, and that should let you move around while you have the save block storage, or save block text up. And then you're gonna save, and you're gonna come all the way over to an area where I'll show you in a second. But basically for now, so you need to have this text box up the entire time until you get the encounter after doing a position setup. So you're gonna need to have this open for a while, basically is the point. And so the way to do that is you'll notice by pressing A or B, you'll scroll the text, which is unfortunate because we'll need to be scrolling text quite a lot. But for now, what you can do is to prevent you from completely closing out the text box is after pressing A or B, you can press Z to scroll the text back up, so that you can still like continuously like move around, jump, hammer, and stuff. Just make sure you don't you always keep the text box in mind. That way you don't accidentally close it out, which would be bad if you're near the end of the setup, because then you'd have to redo the entire setup beforehand. So if you accidentally close it out, let's say I am messing around or something, and I accidentally scroll the text box away. Well, that's okay, because what you can do is you can come back down to the save block, wait for Goombario to come to you, and then you can do the same thing you did before, where you paused, held down, and press C down in the unpause lag to get Goombario talking again. And then you can save and do the same thing as you did before. Okay, so now for basically what most of this relies on is position setups, like float perfect position setups. And so to check your position, I'm gonna use two watches. The first one is your X position, your current X position, and your the next one is gonna be your current Z position. So these are the values. The top one is X and the bottom one is Z. So yeah, let me pull that up just so you can see it for a second. So yeah, 8010 F1B0 F32, and then 8010 F1B8 F32. So once you have those up, you're gonna come over to this corner that I'm going to right now. And so you're gonna come all the way over to this corner right here. And what you're gonna do from here is you're gonna spin, hold right, and then mash spin, and then as you're spinning at a certain point, hammer, so that you land exactly on the position X negative 35. So here we go. And so this is X negative 35. So I'm gonna go through visual cues as I do these, so that I don't take forever having to redo this and everything. So basically a lot of this is gonna be checking your position based on visual cues to make sure your setup is correct so far. So if you happen to screw this setup up, don't worry. You can go back to this corner and then try again to see if you can get it. But as of right now, you just need to get to X negative 35. I'm gonna get to the right setup again, and then I'm gonna show a visual cue to see that it's correct. Okay, there we go. So here is the first visual cue that I use. So this one is the hardest one to see the visual cue, in my opinion, because it's such a small margin of error. But you can see left to the left of Mario, there's just a little hump behind him. And you have to get really close to your monitor or TV to see this. But you can see there's like, this is like a decently sized hump. So there's like probably 3 pixels behind to the left of Mario's glove. And that's what you want. You don't want it to be, the hump to be too long. You don't want it to be too short. You want it to be exactly this size. And so yeah, this does involve getting really close to your screen to being able to see it. But thankfully that is the only one like that. The others are semi-easy to tell if you're doing this correctly. Anyway, so let me get one too far to the right and one too far to the left to give you a visual like reference as to what to look out for to see if your setup is bad. So that's way too far to the left. Okay, this is 2. I want to give 1, that way I can just give an idea. There we go, okay. So this is 1, and you can see the hump next to Mario is really small. Like really small. This is like significantly less hump than there was last time, and this is 1 position too far to the left. So usually this is the easiest to tell if it's wrong because it's a really small hump. And so yeah, that's one that's too far to the left. If you can't see, if the hump is this small or you can't even see it, then your position is off by being too far to the left. So I'm gonna zoom out again, and then I'm gonna try to get 1 too far to the right. This might take me a couple tries because I'm not used to going late. Okay, that was correct. That's the correct position at least. Now, come on. Don't give me the correct position, please. Dude. Give me a bad position, man. Dude, oh my gosh. Come on. Oh my goodness. That was like 5 negative 35s in a row. Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay. Oh my goodness, man. Come on. Okay, well, apparently I'm just like amazing at the x negative 35 setup. Okay, well, I screwed up my initial position. Come on. Dude, come on. Dude, oh my goodness. Okay. No worries. Well, I guess as you can tell, it's really hard to overshoot. But basically, the hump is going to be like really big. Oh, man, come on. Please. Dude, oh my goodness. How? Oh my gosh. Alright. Okay, come on, please. Oh my goodness, okay. Well, I guess it might be impossible to overshoot. I know it's not, but I just like can't get it for the life of me. Dude, oh my. I'm honestly like just shocked at the amount of times I'm getting this correct, which is 1 frame early from being late. Man. Okay, well, there goes my initial position. Okay, well, I can't get it right now, and I'm spending way too much time on this. Basically, the hump next to Mario is gonna be like a lot bigger, and in practice, if you're practicing this and you get that setup, you get that position, and by checking your watches, it's gonna be negative 34.6, and yeah. The hump is gonna be a lot bigger and it's gonna be really noticeable. Oh, man, I just really wish I could get this. Dude. If I can't get it, okay, screw it. Anyway, so then you have at least somewhat of an idea what to look for that. The next position you're gonna need to go to is x negative 250, 235.062, which I just landed on. So this is what the correct position looks like. You can see there's a little hump next to Mario's shoe, and it's not showing the entire like top of it, which I'll show you. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. Let me point this down to the same position. And also, if you need to redo this setup for whatever reason, like if you got off by a little bit, you can go back, just hold right hammer again, and then go back to the same position. Okay, so this is one too far to the right. This is x negative 230.516, and you can see the hump is really big, and you can see the top of it going towards Mario's trousers. And so yeah, that position is gonna be one too far to the right. And I'll see if I can get one too far to the left, which I did. Cool. So the one too far to the left is going to be negative 239.609, and you can't see the hump at all by Mario's shoe. Mario is completely covering it up, and so that's just one too far to the left. So I'm going to get back into the correct position. There we go. And as you can see, we have the hump next to Mario's shoe, kind of going to his shoe and not to his overalls. We don't see the top of it, so that is a good setup for this portion. So now we're gonna do a spin to the right and hammer at negative 73.0624. So I'm gonna save my position on left. And I want to get this right. This is probably the easiest visual cue out of like the entire thing, if I'm being honest. This one. Okay, so here we are, negative 73.0624. And you can see Mario is lined up, pretty much the left side of Mario is lined up exactly with this, the left side of the yellow block, mystery block, I mean. So one too far, let me zoom out. One position too far to the right is going to look like this. Actually, I'm gonna get a better visual. There we go. So one too far to the right, it's very obvious if it's wrong because Mario is way farther than lined up with this, the edge of the yellow block. And that is negative 83.8624. So I'm gonna zoom out again a bit, and then I'm gonna try to hit one too far to the right. This is the correct position. Okay, here we are. One too far to the right. So you can see Mario is definitely not lined up with the left edge again. And this position right here is negative 63.2624. And it's fine if you mess this up because, as you might have seen me doing a second ago, you can kind of spin and hammer around to stop yourself and get back to those same positions. So anyway, once you're at negative 73.0624, you're going to, depending on which route you did, whether you had super boots or didn't have super boots, you're going to do this setup, this next position setup a bit differently. So for me, I didn't get super boots in this route, so what I have to do is I have to hold, and I'll turn my lights on for this one, to show you my controller. But what I need to do is I have to spin, hold left, and then hold A, and then jump, and then let my control stick go back to neutral in one frame while midair. So it looks something like this. And so there we go. So negative 83.9999. And this is very easy to screw up. This is one too far to the left. This is the correct position. This is one too far to the right. This is a screw up. So you can see my control stick didn't go back to neutral soon enough, and so it had an extra frame of him like sort of holding it between neutral and straight left, and that screwed up his position. So it's also kind of hard to tell if you screwed it up, depending on how like small of a value that screwed it up by. But anyway, that's how you do it without super boots. With super boots is a bit harder, but it's like, how do I explain it? It's a bit harder, but it's less risky. Like, this super boot skip is risky because you could screw up your flick. Which, yeah, so it's a bit risky if you skip super boots because you could like screw up that flick at the end and hold not fully left for even a frame, and that would screw the position setup up. So anyway, once you have set that position, actually wait, no, I need to show super boots, the super boots setup. So what you're gonna do is to get to the same position, and yeah, we'll show the like visual cue and stuff in a second, but if you have super boots, then what you would do is you would spin, hold right or left, and then hit Z again, and then hit A to do a ground pound. And you need to make sure you don't close the text box while you're doing this because it's very easy to, because you're clicking A twice. So I'm gonna just use my input display to show this one because I think it'll give you a better idea than if I were to show you the back of my controller and like view from this. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm gonna do that just to show what it would look like. So just something like that, where you can see my input display go Z, hold, and it holds the direction A, Z, and then A again. And basically do that until you can get to there we go, until you can get to negative 83.9999. So I'm gonna show some visual cues that you can use. I'm gonna unhack super boots for me. So now let me turn off my light again. So let me get back to the correct position. So for the correct position, you're gonna see Mario. His hat is slightly to the left of his hat is slightly past the edge of the yellow block, and so that's gonna be your position, negative 83.9999, which is the position you want. And so now I'm gonna show one position too far to the right, and so this is negative 81.8124, and you can tell this is wrong because Mario's hat is really far to the right edge of Mario's hat is really far to the left edge of the mystery block. And so that would be an invalid setup. And then let me try to hit one too far to the left. There we go, okay. So this is negative 86.1874, and you can see Mario's head is like almost lined up with the edge of the yellow block, which is not what you want. That is one too far to the left, and so you need to go back and fix your position setup, and so you can get it correctly. So now I'll get back into the correct position and continue on with the setup. So there we go, negative 3.9999. You can see Mario's head is a little to the right, is a little to the right of the left edge of the yellow block, and so yeah, your positions are good. And then from here, you're going to unequip speedy spin, and so I'm going to show you how to do that without, because you have to do this without closing the text box. So I'm going to save my position, and then so what you do is you pause, you're going to hit Z, you're going to hit R, and then you're going to hit R again. You're going to press A, you're going to scroll back your text box using Z, you're going to hit A again, you're going to scroll back text box with Z, you're going to hit A to unequip speedy, and you're going to hit Z to scroll back your text box again, and then you can unpause. And you've successfully unequipped speedy spin without closing the text box. Okay, and so now what you're going to do is you're going to spin and spin over to the position -140. So here we are. So I'll show what this looks like from a normal view. So here's the visual cue I use. You can see this hump next to Mario's boots. You can see it kind of curves into his boots. And that is the position you want. That is -140. So let me go to 1 to the, actually this is correct again. Okay, almost there. Okay, here's 1 too far to the left. And so you can see, rather than the thing curving into Mario's, actually wait, let me do this view, because I think you'd be hammering from this way. So rather than the hump curving into Mario's boot, you can see the top of the hump, and it just like goes straight into Mario's overalls, which is not what you want. That is too far to the left. So let's show off 1 too far to the right. Okay, here we go. So the 1 too far to the right would be x -132. 1 too far to the left, I don't know if I said it, is -148. And you can see, rather than the hump curving into Mario's boot, which is where he should be, like right around here, the hump like goes up and into Mario's overalls. And so that is 1 too far to the right. If you want to, you can spin and then try to hammer on the same frame that you move forward one, which is kind of what I like to do, because it's easy, assuming you can get it quickly. There we go. So you can see I got the position from just trying hammering over for a bit. And so yeah, I'm at -140, and then, yeah, like I said earlier, 1 too far to the left, assuming I can get it. There we go. You can see, yeah, it doesn't curve into Mario's boot. The hump doesn't curve into it. And also this little thing is sticking out from behind him, which is not what you want. Thankfully the position is pretty easy to tell after a little bit, so shouldn't have too much trouble with this one. Anyway, so after you, actually let me get back into -140. Okay, and so your next position setup is going to be spinning right until you get to, let's see if I can get it, this position, which is 2.00009. And so this one is frame perfect. The hammer is frame perfect because it takes advantage of using the edge like towards the end of like Mario's spin. So you can see when you're spinning, like Mario kind of fizzles out at the end. And so that's what this setup takes advantage of, which is a bit unfortunate because if you overshoot like this and you get 6.0009, which is overshooting by 1 frame, it ruins your position. And if you try to go back to hit it again, your position is going to be like 2 off than it was before. So you can see this would have been -140, but now it's -138. And so if you hit it early, this is the right position. If you hit it early, come on, man. If you hit it early, you can you're gonna get -3.99991, and this is savable. You can go back to -140 like you did before, and you can try the same setup again with no worries. So I would try to aim for hitting this one a bit early if you're trying to play it safe. Screw it, I'll just work back there. And so now I'll give some visual cues. So for the correct position, it's going to look like this. So Mario is going to be just barely past the save block. You can see the left of his hat is a little to the left of it, and his shadow is kind of lined up with the shadow of the yellow block. So now I'm going to show 1 too far to the left. And that would not be this. That would be this. And so you can see Mario is basically in the center of the edge of the yellow mystery block, and Mario's shadow is sort of overlapping with the with the shadow of the yellow block if you would like to use that as a visual cue as well. And so now I'm going to show one too far to the right, which is the tough one to save. You can save it, but it's tough and it's easy to screw up. So this is one too far to the right, and you can see the left of Mario's hat is basically lined up with the left edge of the yellow block. And also his shadow is really far from where it's supposed to be. Basically sort of like lined up with the edge of the shadow of the yellow block. So if you happen to do this, you can try to save it, but it's a bit tough. You can try to spin all the way back to -140 in one motion. So I'll try to show what that looks like, assuming I can get it. Yeah, so there we go. I got it. You can spin all the way back to -140, but it is frame perfect. And if you screw that up and get like one frame early, then I haven't even thought that far ahead on how to save it. But you can save the positive 6.09, assuming you can get back to -140 in one motion. So yeah, so from here you would get to 2.0009, and then the next setup you would need to do is spinning left until you get to -93.9999, which is one position to the left of here. There we go. And so now you can see this is the correct position. Here's the visual cue I use is Mario's nose. You can see the edge of his hat lines up with the yellow block, and then his nose is sticking out past it. Also, another visual cue I use is the shadow of Mario is sort of lined up, almost lined up with the mystery block. And that's probably a better visual cue, actually. That's the one I typically use, unless I happen to see the nose one first. But anyway, I'm going to show one too far to the left and one too far to the right. So let me go back to 2.09 real quick. There we go. And so now I'll go ahead and show you one too far to the right. There we go. Okay. So this is -85.9999, and this is one too far to the right. So you can see Mario's shadow is way far off from the shadow of the yellow block, and also his nose is nowhere near even the left edge of it, when it should be sticking past it, and neither is Mario's hat. So this is one too far to the right, and then I'll go ahead and show one too far to the left. Let me zoom out first. And so one too far to the left would look like this. This is -102, and you can see Mario's hat is basically past the middle even of the yellow block, and Mario's shadow is overlapping a lot with the shadow of the yellow block. Anyway, so those are the visual cues for those three. So let me go back to the correct position. So you can see shadows lined up, hats lined up, nose is sticking out. You have -93.9999. So now what you're going to do is you're going to re-equip Speedy Spin. So you're going to spin here to scroll your text box back up, since you probably most likely hammered last. And then you're going to pause. You're going to go to the right, click R, click A, click Z to scroll your text box back up. Click A, click Z to scroll your text box back up again, and then re-equip Speedy and scroll your text box back up. So now what you need to do is you need to spin down to Z -61.4. So I'm going to do that now. There we go. So you can see my Z coordinate has changed to -61.4. So the visual cue I use for this is this splotch on the ground. This is actually something that my TV is a bit weird with. When I watch other people's PBs, this doesn't look the same as me. So you might have to get some sort of your own visual cue for this. But since my TV is so dark, what I can see is the splotch right below Mario's feet. It has no gray below it, and it's completely visible. So it just like, you can completely see the whole splotch, and Mario's boots are right above it, so it blacks out all the grayish stuff. So I'm gonna show a bit more what I mean on that in a second. So let me try to get one above that. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is the one too far above it, and you can see on my TV, I can see the splotch, and I can see some gray area, and then I can see Mario's feet. And so that's how I know I don't have it correct. I'm gonna say my position here, and try to show you one too far down so you can see like the different, or one down, which is the correct position, so you can see a bit of a difference. Okay, so you can see here, the gray area is gone. It just goes from splotch, fully seeing the splotch, to Mario's boots. And so that's how you know you have a good Z position. And so then I'm gonna go one more far down. This is one farther down, which is negative 50.6. Also, the one too far above is negative 72.2, in case you're wondering. But you can see that now the splotch is covered by Mario's boots, like almost entirely. And so that would be wrong. So you need one above that. You can kind of spin around. If you happen to feel like you screwed up somewhere, it's kind of nice because you can just go back up to the top to line yourself back at negative 137 and then try your setup again. And you should be completely fine doing that. Anyway, so you can see splotch and then boots. So that is my correct position, negative 61.4. And so now you have set up both your initial X and Z positions, and now you can start to do the terrors, start to learn of the terrors of one walking. So from here, you would pause again and unequip speedy spin. So yeah, just spin and then make sure to scroll your text box back up after hitting A and unequip speedy. So this is where it starts to get a bit tough. So whenever Mario moves, you can see my X and Y positions on the control stick. And you can see when I'm holding full left, let me go ahead and say my position because I don't know if I did. You can see when I hold full left, I get negative 75. You can see when I hold full up, I get 75. You can see when I hold full right, I get 70, around that same area. And same with down. But if I'm these values range from all the way from negative 1 to all the way to those values. So there's barely inside the dead zone, which is 1, and there's all the way outside, which is negative 75 or whatever value that is normally there, I guess. I don't know. But pretty much this is called one walking because each like different value that the control stick is at moves Mario by a different amount until a certain point, which I think is from like 70 and above, maybe. I'm not sure. I know for Ocarina of Time it's 70. It's 67. Yeah, so I think for Ocarina of Time it's anything above 67 is just going to be full. It's going to move you the same amount. And for this game, it's different for every single value except up to a certain point, which I'm not sure what that point is. But anyway, the point is you need to barely hold outside of the dead zone so that you move Mario by an exact amount every single time you move left or right. And so this is like barely. Hang on, let me talk about like this is barely outside the dead zone. So let me get back to that position, and you can see if I pinch the control stick and barely move it to the left, you can even sit on the input display. The input display doesn't even look like it's moving. But yeah, so you can see Mario moved a certain amount. And when I move back the other direction, I can end up in the exact same position that I was earlier, which is negative 93.9999. But if I were to hold 2 for like a frame or so, like somehow on accident, which is like even like barely not negative 1 or barely not one walking, you can see that when I go back to the same position I was in, the values are going to be slightly off. So now it's 94 point 2, 4, 2, 1, which this is like the same visual cue that I would use normally. It's just like so very slightly off. Even that is going to screw up the setup and prevent the code execution from working, or the ace from working, really. So basically what you need to do is for the remainder of this setup, you need to not hold anywhere farther than 1 on your control stick, which is about as hard as it sounds. So what you need to do here is this one walking is actually free because you can pause and then go over to your map. And what you can do is you can see the arrow when you move it. Here, let me zoom in on that. You can see my X and Y values in the bottom corner. But you can see when you move like about probably like, let me go to like 4. You can see that the cursor is moving fairly fast. And then if you go down a little bit more, it slows down. And so this is 2, it's like, you can kind of think of it like a metronome. It's like and so that's 2 if you're holding 2 on the analog stick. But if you're holding 1, it'll be like sort of more like a clock, so like and so you can kind of get a feel for what to look for, like the speed that the cursor is moving at. And if your cursor is moving at this speed, you are holding 1 on your control stick, and you can unpause to go encounter the spiny top. And so for the spiny top encounter, it does not matter where you stand, as long as you stand somewhere past, having Mario's hat, somewhere past the middle of the yellow block. Because it, like, you could be anywhere from like here to here, and the setup would work fine. You basically just need to be far enough so that Goombario creates enough dust when he runs to you at the end of the setup to actually crash the game. Because if you get hit by the spiny top, you're gonna open your partner menu and it's gonna freeze Goombario in place. And if he's too far to the left, he's not gonna come running to you like he should, and the setup will fail. So basically, you're gonna want to walk over to this area, somewhere over here, and you're gonna watch the spiny top. So you're gonna want to wait for him to stop moving so that he doesn't, or he's turned around so that he doesn't see you and hit you too early. But you can really just continue walking until he hits you, as long as you go past this area. So I'm gonna pause again once I see him come back on screen, and turn around. So here we go. I'm gonna do the holding 1 trick on the map. So you see I'm holding 1, map cursor barely moving. I'm gonna walk over to this area. So you can see I got hit like really far away from the block, which is fine. That will work. That will 100% work. And so now that you've gotten hit by the spine top and started the battle, what you need to do first is you need to hold B to scroll the text. Actually, let me turn my light off again. You're gonna hold B to scroll text, and then you're going to go up and kill these spiny tops with your Thunder Rage. Because I'm assuming you had one based on the route you took. And so once the battle's over, when you see Mario's thumbs up, you can open up your partner menu with C right. And now, something you might notice is because of having the save block storage, when we ended the fight, we can now move around. So like, I can move around while the partner menu is showing up. I'm trying to walk so that I don't create any effects that might screw this up. But basically, yeah, we can walk around now, which is nice. And so, what we need to do now is we need to keep in mind the drops that the spiny dude dropped. So you can see on screen I have 5 coins, and I have a paper that shows all the possible effect setups. So as you can see, 5 coins and no drops. No drops count as hearts, FP, like any battle items like mushrooms or soda pops, all of those, basically anything other than coins, count as drops. So as you can see on my charts, I have 5 coins and no drops. So the effect setup would be spin, 67 hammers, and then another spin. And yeah, that's the entire setup. There are step effects that you need. I somehow got the combination where I don't need step effects, so I will show how to step effects. After I finish explaining everything else, like the position setups. I apologize for that. But anyway, so basically I have to spin, do 67 hammers, and then spin again, which I will do at the end of the setup. So yeah. Let me, now I can do this. So to spin, you're just gonna click Z. And then something you might notice is when you hit Z, your cursor on the partner menu is gonna scroll. And so what you don't want to do the entire time is close the partner menu. Closing the partner menu can happen when you select a partner, when you press B, or when you press C right. So you don't want to do any of those 3 things, because otherwise you'll lose effect storage and you can't do ace. So yeah. So after you hit Z to spin, you're gonna hit R to scroll your cursor back to Goombario, and the active partner, when you hit A, it's gonna give you a text box saying that you already had this partner out or something, something to that extent. So when I hit A, you can see I jump, and this text box comes up, which doesn't close the partner menu. So what I can do is I can take advantage of this and press A, and then while that text is up, I can press B again to bring me back to this same screen, I guess. But if I press B twice, then I'm gonna close the partner menus, which would be bad. So in order to keep it open, I need to press A in between my hammer inputs. So I'm gonna let you look down at my input viewer, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna jump to bring up the text box, and then I'm gonna start hammering and pressing A after each hammer. So, and also I'm gonna count so you can see that as well, because if you lose count of your hammers, your run is basically over unless you somehow got lucky and guessed your the amount of hammers you got correctly. Because you need, for my set case, I need to hammer exactly 67 times. If I go 1 less or 1 above, then this code execution will not work. So now I need to hammer 67 times, so I'll let my input display show all the buttons and stuff that I'm pressing. So A, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67. And so now I have hammered the correct amount of times. And then you can spin now, or you can wait till the end of the setup to do it. I don't wait till the end of the setup just because I like doing that. So anyway, now back to one walking. So what you need to do now is you need to get your X position back to negative 93.9999. And so to do that, you're going to have to hold barely outside the dead zone to get your, to start walking while holding 1. And the text kind of covers it up, but here are my X and Y values, and you can see my control stick. But I'm going to pinch the control stick. Let me turn my light on for this, actually. I'm going to pinch the control stick using my thumbs. Actually, I have another controller instead of Friend's house right now. But what it is I put a bunch of tape on it so that the control stick is basically completely stiff. And the only way to move it is really just like using the soles of my shoes. So I just like basically step on my controller to get it, make it give me one walking because the control stick is so stiff. So if you don't want to do something jank like this, like that, then I recommend just pinching it so you don't overshoot, which is very, very bad because then the setup literally will not work. So you want to pinch it and keep slowly, ever slowly inching it to the left until Mario starts to move. So there we go, we're holding 1. And so now we're like around this area. And so around this area is fine, because then you can start holding right to get to your correct Y position. And so I'm gonna turn my light off now that do you have an idea of how to hold for 1 walking? And that way you can see the position setup. So I'm gonna do some more 1 walking. And I might hack this in, like, using position setups to, in case I screw this up, because I could very well do that. Okay, well, this is the correct setup. This is negative 93.9999. And so the visual cue I use for this is this splotch on the ground next to Mario. It's right under Mario, same one from earlier. You can see the left edge of Mario's boot is perfectly lined up with the left edge of the splotch. And so that's how you know you have a good X position. And so I'm gonna teleport back to where I was a second ago, and I'm gonna try to show you either 1 too far to the left or 1 too far to the right. Also might try to cheese this just by loading position hack if I overshoot. Okay, so this is like, hey, come on. Okay, well somehow I did that right. That would have never worked if I'd done that in a run. Okay, that's still too far too. Come on. Okay, here we go. This is 1 too far to the right. This is negative 91.9921. And so you can see when I zoom in that the left of Mario's boots are not perfectly lined up with the edge of the splotch. And so that's your visual cue that you're 1 too far to the right, and you have to go back to the left and try the setup again. So I'm gonna hack back to where I was earlier, and I'm gonna try to hit 1 too far to the left. I held 2, so I'm gonna just go back. Come on. Come on. Okay, this is 1 too far to the left. And so this is negative 96.0077. So you can see pretty easily that the left of Mario's boots are too far to the left of the splotch on the ground. They need to be exactly lined up for your position to have been correct. So I'm going to reload that position that I was at earlier and go back to negative 93, or attempt to go back to negative 93 at least. That was 1 too far to the left. Went too far to the left again. Come on, man. Man, come on. Okay, here we go. So now we're back at negative 93.9999. And as you can see, yep, my boots and the left side of the splotch are lined up perfectly. So that is good. And now we have to do our final position setup, which is our Z position setup. And then basically the run is almost over. We're done with positioning stuff. So, also, wait, what the heck? Why did Goombario teleport over there? I don't know why that happened, but I probably was just from, I honestly have no clue that happened, but it happened, so I don't know. Anyway, so now for the Z position setup. what you need to do is you need to hold slightly down, so one walk down, basically the same way you did before, and you're gonna get all the way into 4.85783 something like that. And I'll try to get it. Okay, that was close. That was one too far. Up. Okay, here we go. This is the correct position. So this is 4Z 4.85783. And so this setup, you can see the left of Mario's glove right here. You can see this pixel right here is lined up perfectly with this line, so it goes straight across. And it's going to be very visible once you get used to looking for it. And that's about the only visual cue I actually use. It's just that line, because it's really, really reliable, honestly, because nothing else really resembles it around this area. So, oh, and also if it looks like it's like a pixel off, and then check the bottom of Mario, because he's covering a splotch right now with his shadow, and the splotch is going to be pretty visible if it's like 1 pixel off. So I think it might show it if I screw up this position, because I'm going to try to get like one or two off of it. Okay, so this is 1 off, which is perfect. So this is 2.85002, and as you can see, this is like, you can't even see the line or anything. It's just splotch, and this splotch right here is not being fully covered up by Mario's shadow. So that's 1 too far up, and now here is 1 too far down. Well, that's the correct position again. You can see because I have the line. Let me try to get 1 too far down. That's too far up. Come on. Okay, this is 1 too far. This is 1 too far down. Okay, so you can see, once again, line is nowhere to be found. The splotch is like being covered up by Mario, but yeah, no, there's no line here. It's just like a weirdly shaped splotch. So now I'm gonna try to get back into the correct position. This is 1 too far down. Okay, here we go. I'm in the correct position again. 4.85783. And so, yeah, you can see the line is there and everything is present. Sometimes, even if you are like in the right position, the line won't show, and that is sometimes because you screwed up somewhere other than the setup, and like the camera is slightly different, so you don't see the line perfectly as I do now. But if you have the correct position, this line will always show, and it's very easy to notice. So that's it for all the position setups, and now I have to do my final spin. So I'm gonna click Z and then R to get my cursor back on Goombario. And now is where you'd set up, or for me, this is where I'd hit enter on my keyboard to start the player 3 inputs. But for testing or for practicing purposes, the only thing you need to know is, so whenever you're holding nothing on player 3, all the player 3's instruction when read as code is just a bunch of zeros, which I'm pretty sure is the instruction for do nothing. So when it does nothing, what's going to happen is you're going to see the screen flash for a second with the debug menu pop up, if you're assuming you're on the practice ROM, and then it's going to go away a frame later. So assuming I did this right, I should be able to hit C right and then A a few moments later, and the debug menu should show up and then disappear, and that means I did this setup correctly. So I'm gonna turn my lights on again to show you the timing I use. So I'll just count in my head. I'll just say 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and on 5 I will hit C right, and on 7 I will hold A. So I'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, and then hold A. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And actually, oh shoot. Okay. So something I didn't notice before doing this is I had already done the A setup, and so things are set up a little differently in this room. So basically I just like screwed with stuff until I could get back into this room. And so it gave me this PC, which means basically either you had a descending jump or you've messed with some stuff and the game isn't like where it would normally be. But assuming you're following the correct route, and you got up to this point, like legitimately, your PC or your debug menu should like pop up for like a split second and then leave before like you can even see it really. Like you'll just see it flash for a second. And that means you did the setup correctly as far as setting them up without player 3 inputs. If your player 3 inputs were correct, then if you set them up correctly, then your PC is going to be 088077, so on and so forth. Which I will post a picture of what the correct PC screen is if you did the ACE correctly. And assuming you had done it correctly, what you would be able to do is you could reset. Let me wait. No, I didn't do that. What you could do is you could just reboot your game, load this file, and you would credits warp. But I didn't because I didn't set up player 3 inputs, and also because I fricked with the oh shoot, I fricked with the game to get to this point, which is the volcano like a second time. So pretty much everything that I had done, if I had just done it normally, would have worked. Like to credits warp. Just I've fricked with stuff. So I'll post a picture of what the crash screen should look like if you did do it correctly. And it's very obvious if you did. It's like PC should be like 8077, like 9 something. I'm not sure, but I'll post a picture of it so you can see in the description. But anyway, and now actually I need to show how to set up step effects, assuming you get these, for your positional setups, I guess. So let me go ahead and get text storage again, or say block storage, I mean. Come on, game. Dude, what? Come on, man. Okay, there we go. So I'm gonna get hit by this guy. I'm not doing the position setup. I'm just showing how to do those step effects. I mean, so yeah, you would kill these guys, and yeah. Then based on whatever effects you got, so you can see right this time I got 5 coins and 1 heart, and so this heart counts as a drop. So I would do my spin as normal before doing anything. And I didn't actually unequip speedy spin, which I forgot, but it's okay. Basically, I'm just showing you how to set the step effects. So 5 and 1, you can see I have 5 coins and 1 drop, which would be 6 hammers and 5 steps. And so a normal like step effect is when you do like when Mario's running, he creates step effects, but you can't really run because you got a one walk. So to counteract that, you got to hit A. Or you got to spin. You got to hurt. Let me say this better. You got to hit R to scroll your cursor one below the your partner, your active partner, and then you're gonna hit Z and A. So let me pull up my input display so you can see this a little bit better. And so now you can see I hit R, and then when I hit Z and A, like in quick succession, I'm gonna create one effect. So, yeah. And so that should have created one effect. So, and you can do this as many times as you need. So like for this specific one, I needed 5 steps, 66 and 5. So 5 step effects, and so I just created 1, and then I would do it again. 2, 3, 4, and then 5. And so that should create your step effects. And also you can check the practice feature for Ocarina of Time Ace, and it'll show you the amount of effects you have. So I can show it now, but you can see when I hit Z and then A, I create 1 effect. Oh wait, no, when you have Speedy, it creates 2, but it's like the same timing, I guess. Let me reset and show that without Speedy Spin equipped, just to make this, like, just to show that you're creating 1 effect when doing it. So yeah, let me do that. Thank you. Okay. So now you can see when I would get hit by him, and then win the battle. Let me pull up the Ocarina of Time Ace Trainer. And so I'm gonna open the partner menu, and then, yeah, I would do my spin. And then, yeah, as you can see, when I hit Z and then A, I'm gonna create 1 effect. So watch the counter effect go up. So, ZA, and boom, you create an effect. And you can do that as many times as you need, based on what the effect, like, chart says that you need to create. And so that's basically how to do that. And yeah, you can practice this without player 3 inputs, based on seeing if the by seeing if the what's it called? Yeah, by seeing if the debug crasher, like, only comes up for a frame. So anyway, that's gonna be about it, I guess. There are a lot of things that can go wrong with this. I would highly recommend practicing for a while before you start doing runs. Unless you can just, like, get it right off the bat, like a Giga Chad, and start doing PB attempts within, like, a few days. But anyway, yeah, after doing your effects setup, you just, like, jump and stuff, and then actually, I'll pull up my cartridge, actually, to show what it would look like. What it would look like after you did the entire setup correctly. So I have my actual cart. And so if you did everything correctly up to the crashing point, and you didn't, like, cheat like me, you can see all my file names and everything are the same. Even this one, which it doesn't matter what this is again. But you can see after you restart it, that, yeah, the credits, or just the DN screen at least, plays. Timing ends when you first load into the file. And then, yeah, you would have beaten Paper Mario successfully with arbitrary code execution. So that's about everything. I don't think I missed anything. Um, yeah, I'll post a picture of what the crash screen should look like. Um, But I think the reason the ace didn't work when I was on the practice ROM was because I was in like a different room state or something, because I messed around to like warp myself back to it at a different point in the story. After some things had like already been completed, and then I don't know. But anyway, that would have worked assuming you were on cartridge or on EverDrive even. And yeah, that's about it. If you have any questions or you're having trouble with this stuff, feel free to ask in the Paper Mario Discord. There are a couple people that know how to help, like Rain and JCog, and myself. But that's about it, I guess. Good luck if you plan on trying this out for yourself, and yeah, just have a good time.